Not crazy after all.
Wow. That part I don't.
Thanks, Ann.
Oh, I think it was. Your mark.
What he never says is
Oh,
Get set.
yeah, we're live.
Yeah, I know.
relative to his house completed by court order, pursuant to court order.
Doesn't go for it. I was just telling her. Oh. Anybody else? Jim, you want to?
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Village Boardroom. This is the Liquor Commission hearing for June 3rd, 2019. Please rise for the pledge. It's okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please stay standing. I'd like to observe a moment of silence for the shooting at the Virginia Beach. Thank you. Be seated. Clerk Simpson, roll call.
Commissioner Vogel,
Here.
Commissioner Lang,
Here.
Commissioner Kruger,
Present.
Commissioner Vito,
Here.
Commissioner Papantos,
Present.
Commissioner Raffato,
Here.
Chairperson Horker.
Here. You have before you the minutes of the meeting from April 15th, 2019. I need a motion for their approval.
So moved.
Motion, Trustee Papantos.
Second.
Second, Trustee Lang, Commissioner Lang. Roll call.
Commissioner Vogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Lang,
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger,
Yes.
Commissioner Vito,
Yes.
Commissioner Papantos,
Yes.
Commissioner Raffato,
Abstain.
and Chairperson Horker.
Yes. Citizens' concerns and comments.
There are none. Okay. Ready?
Go ahead.
Okay, consideration of a request for a Class L liquor license from Atlantic Aviation for events to be held at 1011 South Wolf Road on June 11th and 18th, 2019, and on a third date to be determined.
Mr. Spondilis.
Thank you. As the title indicates, this is a liquor license request. Our code allows for, in these types of instances, up to 3 events to be included into a single license approval process. The petitioner has identified 2 of those, the first being Tuesday, June 11th, the second being Tuesday, June 18th. A third date is yet to be determined, but as I said, the code allows for up to 3 without specifications. The third would still go through a process, but your approval tonight, should you grant it, allows me to sign that liquor license. This simply allows the process to move faster and not require the petitioner to come back a third time before the commission. There are 5 conditions that I would ask the commission to consider. The first being satisfactory background check results. The second, payment of all liquor license fees. Third, submittal by the applicant's caterer of a certificate of insurance indicating liquor liability insurance, naming Chicago Executive Airport and the Village of Wheeling as additional insured parties. Fourth, submittal by the applicant's caterer of Bassett certifications for all event servers. And 5, final review and approval by me. Happy to answer any questions.
Questions or comments? Right.
We'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Vogel, second Commissioner Papantos.
Commissioner Vogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Lang,
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger,
Yes.
Commissioner Vito,
Yes.
Commissioner Papantos,
Yes.
Commissioner Raffato,
Yes.
Chairperson Horker.
Yes.
Item B, consideration of request for a Class I liquor license from the Wheeling Park District for an event to be held on June 22nd, 2019.
Mr. Spondilis.
Thank you. Again, as the title indicates, this is the annual Craft Beer and Wine Fest hosted by the Wheeling Park District. As a reminder, the Park District does hold their own liquor license already, but because they are bringing in an outside vendor, that's what triggers the requirement for this license. I am happy to answer any other questions, or should I put you on the spot to advertise? Or Director Webby can answer any questions as well.
Or you could come up here and tell us all about how wonderful it is.
All right, thank you. The annual Wheeling Park District Craft Beer and Wine Festival is on Saturday, June 22nd. We are bringing in different vendors and purveyors to the Heritage Park Performance Pavilion. This will be a ticketed event for the public, and it's a great event. It's a great venue. It's a great day out in the park. We have it on good authority that the weather is going to be perfectly fine that day, so plan in advance and get your tickets, and we'd be happy to host everyone out there.
Questions or?
How much is it?
It's a great question. And it's on our website.
How many
What's the
different,
website?
Go to wheelingparkdistrict.com. We have the whole link right up there.
how many different vendors and what are the hours?
The hours, it runs from 2 to 6 p.m. And the number of vendors we're still trying to secure because several of them had said, yes, they'll commit, but that number changes, but we're anticipating over 60 different varieties. And in the past, we've had 15 to 20 different booths that people could stop by and sample them, so.
Thank you.
If there's no other questions, we need a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Motion, Commissioner Kruger, second, Commissioner Lang. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Vogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Lang?
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger?
Yes.
Commissioner Vito?
Yes.
Commissioner Papantos?
Yes.
Commissioner Raffato?
Yes.
Chairperson Horker?
Yes. Thank you.
All right, beerwinefestival.com will also get you the info. Beerwinefestival.com. All right, thank you.
Next up.
Item C, consideration of a Class I liquor license for the Village of Wheeling to be an event to be held on June 29th, 2019.
Mr. Svandelis.
Thank you. Again, as the title indicates, this is our annual Rock and Run event to be held on June 29th at Chicago Executive Airport property. And every year, although we have to get a license from the state, we also have to grant ourselves a license, and even this one comes with 2 conditions for your consideration. First, a certificate of liquor liability insurance to be provided, and second, facet certificates for all applicable individuals. We will have more information during official comments at the end of the meeting about the event itself, but of course I can answer any questions should you have any related to the liquor license.
Shouldn't we all have to recuse ourselves from this vote? It just seems
If
weird.
you do,
but
we're
okay.
in trouble.
Yeah, that's fine.
Left to right. If there are no questions, I would need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion, Trustee Ruffato, second, Trustee Kruger. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Vogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Lang?
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger?
Yes.
Commissioner Vito?
Yes.
Commissioner Papantos?
Yes.
Commissioner Raffato?
Yes.
Chairperson Horker?
Yes. That concludes our business. I need a motion to adjourn from the Liquor Commission hearing.
So moved.
Motion, Commissioner Ruffato,
Second.
second, Commissioner Kruger. All in favor?
Aye.
Liquor Commission adjourned. Use that thing every now and then. I'd like to call to order the regular meeting for June 3rd, 2019. Clerk Simpson, roll call.
Roll call. Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee
Here.
Kruger? Trustee Kruger?
Present.
Trustee Vito?
Here.
Trustee Papantos?
Present.
Trustee Raffato?
Here.
Got him.
President Horker?
Got him.
Here. You have before you the minutes of the regular meeting of May 20th, 2019. I need a motion for their approval.
So moved.
Motion, Trustee Papantos.
Second.
Second, Trustee Ruffato. Roll call, please.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Raffato?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes. Changes to the agenda. Mr. Svandelis.
If I could, I'd like to ask for a motion to move old business item 12A to take place after new business.
So moved.
Motion, trustee Papantos, second.
Second.
Trustee Lang, roll call.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Krueger?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Raffato?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes. Proclamations, Clerk Simpson.
On National Garden Week, June 2nd through June 8th, 2019, the Wheeling Garden Club, in cooperation with the National Garden Clubs Incorporated, is promoting National Garden Week. Gardeners have a passion for nurturing the beauty and resources of the earth through the planting of seeds, the care of all plants, and the riches of their efforts. Gardeners seek to add beauty, splendor, fragrance, and nutrition to our lives through the growing of herbs, vegetables, foliage, and flowers. Gardeners work to preserve our country's traditional spirit and independence and initiative through innovation and hard work. Gardeners advocate the importance of all creatures, large and small, that share our world and their roles in a balanced and productive ecology. Gardening furnishes a challenging and productive activity for our citizens, for those just learning as well as those having years of experience. Gardening promotes a healthy lifestyle that lasts a lifetime, helps reduce stress from other areas of our life, and teaches that rewards can come from diligent efforts. Gardening enables members of garden clubs across the nation and the world to make a world of difference in the communities where they reside and work. Patrick Horker, President of the Village of Wheeling, acknowledges the importance of gardening and the numerous contributions of gardeners, including the Wheeling Garden Club, and celebrate June 2nd through June 8, 2019 as National Garden Week.
Thank you, Clerk Simpson. Thank you.
And I will see that they get the proclamation.
Okay.
Okay.
That brings us to citizens' concerns and comments.
Members of the public may address the board with comments regarding only those items that are relevant to village business. No citizen shall speak for more than 5 minutes without consent of the board. Members of the general public who wish to address the board must sign the request to speak form prior to the commencement of the public meeting.
Just as a reminder, this is a time for the citizens to make comments about and express their concerns, and for the board to listen. Neither the board nor the staff will be answering questions.
Mr. Brezick?
Good afternoon. As you have known, I addressed you for 5 minutes last month, and I have yet to get a response. So I'm going to go over the other stuff as fast as possible. You have violated amendments 4, 5, 6, 7 of the U.S. Constitution by an armed home invasion of my property and removal of personal property by a subcontractor aftermath. I showed a document to John and he verified it was his signature. That was done in November of 2017. I showed another document to Mark over there and he verified his president's signature. That was done in around end of September, beginning of October of 2013. On 3/11/14, all housing charges were dismissed. I won the case. And even if they weren't dismissed, all personal property, according to the U.S. Constitution, must be returned in a timely fashion. To date, it has not happened. In 2017, when they invaded my home while I was in Michigan, they tampered with the furnace so I would have no heat, and my water pipes, my hot water heater, and the toilet all busted. It was 20 below zero weather that time. My neighbor was kind enough to inform me that my windows were all frosted up. I called NICOR, and they verified that there was gas being used but no heat. Conclusion, gas leak. Sergeant Hart refused to allow NICOR access to my house because they changed all the locks. And they were the ones that only had access to the property. NICOR had no alternative but to shut the gas off and lock it. When I came back, I had to live in my house for 3 days at 10 degrees below zero weather. I'm tough. I knew that you took everything that you wanted to, so I came prepared with blankets and sleeping bags. I want my property returned. I want the money that was extorted from me for the attempted selling at a sheriff's sale of my property. $124,000 the first time, $51,000 the second time, for a total of $175,000. I expect that money to be returned to me times 3. I want a response from you guys. Are you part of KTJ?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I suggest you go to court and pursue your remedies.
Because
you,
I'm going to the federal.
Sir, you have lost every single case. You have lost every single case
But I want a statement
before
from you people to explain your actions.
I was just about to.
I'm sure you'll find out a good excuse.
I was just about to. All actions taken relative to your property were pursuant to court order.
No.
Every single time.
Yes, sir. You want to see a copy of the so-called court order unsigned? I got it right here. But I'm not going to try the case. Now, if you want, I'll let you make a copy of each of these items. It'll make your task a whole lot easier, and it'll verify all my talking points. Now, do you have any questions about what I have said? 1, I want all my personal property returned. I want all monies extorted from me returned times 3. I want the people who were responsible for these 2 armed home invasions, John and Mark, to be held accountable, because they are financially responsible for it. You broke it, you bought it. I yield to any of you people who would like to ask me questions. Am I going to get a written response to my request?
That's your time, sir.
What?
That's your time.
Am I going to get a written response for my request?
Don't really know. I'll talk to the attorney afterwards.
Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Ms. Mayor?
Hi, my name is Anita Meyer, and I am here on behalf of safety concerns that we have discovered. It's my second year that I just completed taking my daughter to Wheeling High School. I have a son who's starting in the fall. And with going to and from school, drop-offs, pickups, events, and whatnot, we've come to realize there's a huge safety concern coming in and out of the high school, out of Wildcat Way, right onto Hintz Road. So that would be people coming, going north into the parking lot from Hintz, or afterwards going east or west on Hintz Road, coming out from that south parking lot. The majority of students do enter and exit from that site. The other entrance off of 83 or Elmhurst Road is majority the school buses. And my understanding is there's a police officer that helps navigate and direct there. The request that we have is to install a new traffic light and crosswalk at Hintz and Wildcat Way. We have met with Principal Cook and Traffic Sergeant Elward and obtained support as far as definitely feeling that this is a big concern to students, visitors, and guests coming to the high school, coming and leaving during high traffic times, mornings, afternoon pickups, as well as major events, sports events, band festivals, and whatnot. We want to improve the safety. We've already had a middle school student who has crossed at the crosswalk that is off of the side street right there on Hintz, and has been hit by a car, has had a head injury, and we are just trying to proactively prevent any issues from any students or people crossing there being injured. We also have met with Prospect Heights Alderman, Wendy Morgan Adams, and she was actually very concerned. She has many of the students that live in the neighborhood just south of Wheeling High School on the south side of Hinds. They do not have bus service that is provided at no cost. They do have to pay for it, but they are literally right across the street, but parents will drive them to school because of the safety concern. There's 4 lanes of traffic. Any given day, if any one of you stand on that corner, which I have many times, we have videos, we have pictures of students and adults trying to cross the street. Never once does a car stop. And my understanding is that it's the law at a pedestrian crosswalk to stop. And that doesn't happen. And now you have kids, unfortunately, with AirPods in and distractions, but never does a car stop, very rarely. And the concern, as has happened in the past, Mount Prospect with an adult female who the one car stops and the other car in the next lane does not stop, and then that's the concern for anyone crossing there. So we're looking for a few things, and let me point out as well, Buffalo Grove High School had the same issue coming out of their parking lot south side onto Dundee Road. They have successfully put in a traffic light there and have provided much needed safety for students, faculty, and visitors going into and out of that. I have substituted there and as a substitute school nurse, and it's amazing how quickly a parking lot can be emptied at the end of a school day because of the traffic light, as opposed to just a backup. On Hinds Road, every morning there's such a backup waiting for that light at Elmhurst Road, and so many of them just are waiting to turn left into the school, drop off kids or drive to school themselves. So we're looking for a few things. You know, we're just citizens, we're just paying taxpayers here, and we really can't make, we can't erect a stoplight. So we're looking for all of your help in communicating with Cook County, with Wheeling Village for support and direction as to what the next steps would be. Our understanding is a traffic study would need to be completed, review of accident reports, and such as far as moving forward with this. I don't know if any of you have ever had the experience of going into or out of Wheeling High School, either with your own children now or in the future, but it's a huge concern for us. Many of my neighbors have had students who have gone there, and they're like, oh, gosh, it's awful, but never felt empowered to move forward. It was just always I just pray that, the kids will get to school okay and not have any issues there, and didn't feel that they would be supported and never moved forward. So,
Thank you, ma'am.
thank you.
Ms. Rushke?
Hi, my name is Renata Rushke. My concern is the same concern as Ms. Mayer's concern was. I live in a country garden, so my daughter does not get bus service. She has to walk, and she is asked to cross Hinds Road every day. It's 40 miles an hour speed. Most people go 45, 50 because it's a big stretch between Schönbeck and 83. There's also people, I think it's west of Wheeling High School, coming out, going onto Hinds. They're standing in the middle. It's a big concern. I invite you guys all just to go visit and stand there maybe for 10 minutes. And I'm pretty sure you guys would not be able to cross that street. Nobody stops. And those kids basically run between cars back and forth. I've sat there many days. I have tons of videos to show you guys if you're interested in it. It would be very nice if we could have a traffic light for kids to exit Wheeling High School, and for all the kids who don't get bus service to be able safely to cross Hinds Road to come to school. Like she said, we need to have somebody request a traffic study to go ahead. And that's all the other points is same as Ms. Mayor has it, so I hope you guys consider or come and visit Sherwood and Hens Road when school starts in August. Stand there for 10, 15 minutes, and hopefully we get a traffic study in August from you guys, and we could go forward with a safe travel for the kids. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
That's it.
That's it. Mr. Furlow, could you provide some clarification for Mr. Brzeziak's situation? What's going on with that?
Certainly, President Horker, and for the public, Mr. Brzeziak's property has been the subject of several code enforcement actions since the mid-'90s. I think we're up to, is it 4, Mallory, or more than that at this point?
I think it's more like 5 or 6.
Okay, 5 or 6, relating to the cleanup of nuisance conditions that include excessive debris and, very frankly, unsanitary conditions both inside and outside of the home. All actions taken relative to his property have been taken pursuant to court orders, including the entry to his property, which was only achieved through the obtaining an administrative search warrant through the Circuit Court of Cook County. So all actions were taken by court order, including the removal of the debris from the property to remedy the unsanitary conditions pursuant to the code enforcement action. Those actions were only taken in each instance after multiple warning notices were sent requiring cleanup of the property by the property owner, which were not complied with. So really, last resort type actions, all taken under the color of law. Relative to the money that he has spoken about, also pursuant to court order, we were allowed to lien the property for the cost that the village incurred in cleaning up the site, cleaning up the debris both inside and out. Those liens were, they attached to the property, and the way a party collects on a lien is to seek foreclosure of the lien. Mr. Brzeziak was forced or required to, well, not forced, by his choice, he could pay the value of the lien or lose the property. And in each case, he chose to pay the value of the lien. So what you're hearing that he's won the case, he's never won the case. The village has, and not with any great joy, believe me, has taken these actions out of necessity and has gotten a judge to see it our way to help clean up these nuisance conditions, which are frankly for the benefit of the neighbors around that property. I can answer any questions, but that's a summary of what we've been facing over the last, over 20 years, very frankly, relative to the property. Yes?
When was the last time that, I believe Mr. Brzeziak said 2017, and what's the condition of the property right now?
I don't know the condition of the property right now. The last time, Mallory, do you know the last cleanup date?
It was 17 going into 18. By the time we went in, got the administrative search warrant, came back to the judge with the results, then gave him time to clean up the property, remove anything he wanted. And then when he didn't clean up the property, the village had the authorization, and then the foreclosure process. So I feel like it finished up in 18. And then my understanding was talking to staff is that the property is starting to get into a bad condition again. We usually know because when there's no more room inside, it starts to creep into the outside, and then neighbors usually submit complaints. So we'll likely have to do a cleanup again in the near future.
That's it.
Mr. Trustee Lang?
So just for clarification, items are being brought into the house and yard?
Yes, Mr. Brzeziak does seem to somehow continue to collect items and start storing them again throughout his house, his garage, and his yard.
Okay. Thanks for the clarification.
Thank you, Mr. Furl.
Thank you.
I forgot your name. Mr. Svandilos, what can we do with the Hintz Road?
Thank you. Well, thank you to the residents who asked about a traffic signal at Wheeling High School. Actually, I believe from prior correspondence from one of you, we have already reached out to the high school. Traffic signals on that road are not the responsibility of the Village of Wheeling. In fact, it's not our road, so there's nothing that we can do. That said, there has been some communication with the county and Wheeling High School principal, and we made it very clear that we are more than happy to help in the application process, but as the property owner, they would have to initiate that. So I think that's the first step, is working with Wheeling High School, and then we will assist, but the next step then goes to the county. So there's permission and then there's expense, and again, those aren't Wheeling roads, so there's really nothing that we can do other than help the process through. And we're certainly more than willing to do that. I think we all recognize that you have a very valid point.
Thank you, sir. Trustee Papantos.
So District 214 would be responsible for the cost of the traffic study and
I think
installation?
they would need to at least initiate the process with the county, who would then do the study. Someone more directly involved than I can chime in here as far as who does the study. But it would need to begin with the property owner or the owner of the road, neither of which are us.
I mean, that situation has been, and not only did I drop my own kids off there, but I also went there, so it's been there forever. Okay. And I agree, something should be done, and it seems to have been done at Dundee for Buffalo Grove without a problem, so hopefully 214 will recognize that.
If I could just state, knowing a little bit of the history with Buffalo Grove High School, Dundee Road's a state road. They were a little more empathetic to the situation than the county, and a little more responsive.
But as I said, we have already reached out with the high school, to the high school. We have a very good relationship with the high school. We're more than happy to push as hard as we can.
Thank you.
Trustee Raffato.
So just as this, if this moves forward, then it would be up to the county to determine any type of options. For instance, if there's something that, maybe not a light, but something like at Hersey High School, now granted it's only a 2-lane road, that's activated by pressing a button and the lights go on. All of those options, though, are determined by the county.
The general answer is yes, but I also know that there's been a lot of movement away from those. In fact, the example that was brought up earlier, that is how the resident who used to be the assistant village manager here was killed. It was one of those activated signals. One car stopped, the other didn't see it. So there's movement away from those. But the general answer is yes, the options would come from the county. What they are besides a traffic signal, I think the options are becoming very narrow.
Thank you.
If we have no other questions or comments, we do have a consent agenda. Clerk Simpson.
Consent agenda, all items listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the village board and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a board member or citizen so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered after all other agenda items.
What? You have to read them.
Are you going to read them?
Read them.
You have to read them.
Oh, you want me to read them all?
Yes, please.
I'm sorry, I was... Okay, I was 2 steps ahead of myself. Okay.
Wait for a motion?
Yeah.
Next time.
No, I was waiting for her. Never mind. 11A, resolution affirming an agreement between the Village of Wheeling and the Wheeling Firefighters Association, IAFF Local 3079, for the period May 1st, 2019 through April 30th, 2023. 11B, resolution authorizing change order number 1 to the demolition services contract with Langos Corporation for the demolition of 221 South Wheeling Road. 11C, resolution authorizing a previously bid contract for the purchase of 1 Bobcat compact excavator and trailer from Atlas Bobcat in an amount not to exceed $62,880 in 2019. Item 11D, resolution authorizing the village president clerk to execute a master license agreement with AT&T relative to the installation of small wireless facilities on village property.
Questions?
Make a motion, we approve.
Second.
Motion, Trustee Vogel, second, Trustee Papantos. Roll call, please.
It's Vogel, Papantos?
Yes.
Okay, Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Krueger?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Raffato?
Yes.
President Horker.
Yes.
New business?
We moved the new business till,
We moved old business to follow new
We moved
business, so
old business.
13A is.
there you go, okay,
Okay, 13A,
my turn.
resolution awarding a facade and building improvement grant for House of Rental, 318 North Milwaukee Avenue.
Mr. Jennings, what do we got?
Thank you, President Horker. The reason that we had asked for consideration of a motion to switch the order of these two items is due to the discussion that occurred when the related special use petition was in front of the board at the May 6th meeting. And through that discussion, the petition and the board discussed the possibility of a facade grant for the item that was the subject of the request, specifically the fence and the materials utilized in constructing the fence. Given the way that the discussion unfolded, we had suggested that it would be appropriate to carry on with the discussion of the facade grant first and relate any condition of approval in the special use back to the facade grant rather than vice versa. So at this time, the petitioner has submitted a facade grant application consisting of a proposal for a wooden fence covering the entire perimeter of the property with the exception of the gate just north of the building. The facade grant committee convened and reviewed this request and has recommended approval of a grant in the amount of 50% of the proposed cost, which would be the maximum eligible in this case. That is what you have attached to the resolution. Should this resolution be approved, the special use condition that has been drafted would relate back to anything that is approved at this point. So the two items are together. And as I said, we thought it would be appropriate to discuss the facade grant application first.
Thank you, Mr. Jennings. Questions? Trustee Kruger?
Yes, thank you. I just want, sorry, I just wanted to ask how many fence proposals were submitted to the grant selection committee?
I only submitted, there's two proposals from one company. We proposed the chain link and then the other one for wood. I've had 3 proposals done on the property for
That's what
all
I
that
thought
work.
from a previous
Yeah.
visit to either the plan commission or in front of the board. You had one from a local fence supplier, Durabuild, and thought, I didn't know if this one was a high or low or medium bid.
It was basically the medium bid. The low bid wasn't using, galvanized metal, didn't have the appropriate, I thought, strength behind the fence. But I thought the middle proposal was the product and the company that I would go with on a commercial property like this, yeah.
Okay. My other question was that the proposal states a 412-foot perimeter fencing, but the drawing within the proposal adds up to 416 feet. And as Director Jennings just mentioned, you are not going to do any replacement of the gate that faces North Milwaukee Avenue?
Excuse me. After reading that, yeah, I wanted to match. So I would go ahead and do the gate. He came up with an idea to leave my existing gate, just remove the chain link, and then match it with boards so it would match. And it'd be cost effective to do it that way. So I could leave the structure.
So it won't change the proposal that you have in front of you?
It will, but, again, it's at a point where we just need to start moving forward. So, we had some other cost strategies involved. I think Andrew Jennings brought up that we could do a portion of the property with wood and then the other portion with some chain link, so we could do some cost savings there. I'm open to, some ideas, but with the proposal that it stated, the 76 feet on Starbucks, 55 feet on Strong, and then we have 165 foot with my neighbor there. So they had suggested maybe using some of those areas in chain link as a cost savings, but it's really up to you.
Okay, I'm just trying to figure out what I'm granting you.
Okay, the granting is wood fence on that entire whether it be
On the entire
412 or
perimeter?
416, entire perimeter, yes.
Including the gate on the east elevation?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That's all I had.
Trustee Papantos?
I just want to clarify, this is a pay-as-you-go program, so if for some reason there were cost savings, Director Jennings, it would not be this amount.
So the way the grant award works is it's a maximum reimbursement. So they've provided a proposal. If the fence that they install comes in less, we use the receipts, proof of payment to provide the final work. So the way the grant is typically written is it's a maximum and it's done as a reimbursement at the completion of the project.
So nobody can get more than the 50%.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Papantos. Trustee Vito?
Yeah, I just kind of want to remind everyone the history of this. I mean, these guys have had this outdoor storage for over 35 years. Then they came in with fencing based on our demand that they get a special use permit. The fencing was perfectly fine, in my opinion. We've now demanded that they go from a screen fence to a cedar fence and are now putting approximately 10 grand onto the taxpayers. With that said, I don't want to jam this guy anymore and hold him up and vote a no on it, but I just think it's silly that they're willing to pay for it all by themselves for something that they've been out of conformity, I guess you want to call it, for 30 years and didn't seem to have a problem with, and now we're putting 10 grand on the taxpayers' backs, but that's where we stand.
Thank you, Trustee Vito. Anyone else?
And just contrary, I see it as a great opportunity we utilize the Façade program to solve a problem, and it's going to look a lot nicer back over there on Milwaukee Avenue, and I appreciate you working with the village to do that.
Yeah, I agree. You know, it's an improvement. Again, I still have, you know, my issues with it, but I'm happy to have it look good. I just need that function sometimes. But, you know, again, at this point, I'm happy to have the grant money. I appreciate it. You know, we have paid into that, obviously, with our taxes. We are in a TIF district. I think I have my line item. I've paid $42,000 into that TIF fund. So, you know, it's not a free ride either for me. I feel like it's a win-win.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're free ride, man. I've been with you from the start.
Yeah, I'm with you. I appreciate it.
I'm not calling you a free rider.
If there are no other questions or comments, I do need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion,
Second.
Trustee Papantos, second, Trustee Rufato. Roll call, please.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Krueger?
Yes,
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes.
Very good. Appreciate it.
So you
Do I need
stay?
to sign? Should we do this?
Your item will come up under old business,
Right.
so there's another item in between.
Okay.
Your final special use.
Okay.
It'll be a few minutes.
Yep.
You won't be signing anything tonight, though.
Okay. 13B, discussion regarding reimbursement for demolition of 966, 968 South Milwaukee Avenue.
Mr. Malinefi.
Thank you, President Horker. Victor Tornashek, owner of the property at 966 to 968 South Milwaukee Avenue, is requesting that the village provide TIF assistance to finance the demolition of the vacant Gators Bar and Grill, and the owners indicated that he was not fully aware of some of the infrastructure and landscaping costs for the proposed H2O car wash on the property, and he is now asking the village to assist with the cost of demolition by reimbursing him for 70% of that total. The petitioner and property owner is an experienced car wash developer, and they plan to develop the property into a standalone automatic car wash facility. The project received special use approval from the village board on November 19, 2018. The item is being presented to the village board tonight for discussion because at the time of the special use hearing, the developer had indicated to the board that the project would not be looking for TIF assistance. The staff would work with the owner to prepare a redevelopment agreement for formal consideration by the board, should the board decide to provide TIF assistance. This property is located in the Southeast 2 TIF district. which was designed to eradicate commercial blight in the district and stimulate development. The property meets the criteria for commercial blight based on the building's age, physical deteriorated condition, and physical and functional obsolescence. And commercial blight can negatively impact other surrounding properties, and so demolition of this structure would mitigate commercial blight and remove a cost barrier to the redevelopment of the property. And therefore, the the demolition costs would be TIF eligible expenses. The owner of the property is here tonight to answer any questions that you may have, and I also would be happy to answer any questions as well. Thank you.
Trustee Vogel, then Trustee Lang.
Who's the owner?
Hello, Victor Torshniak.
You're asking for a 70% reimbursement. What, because you weren't sure what it was, or didn't know at the time that it was going to be as expensive to do the work to demolish? What did you think it was going to cost?
Not to demolish the entire cost of the project. At that point, it was around 3 million, give or take. Now it's over 4, partly greatly because of the extra demands from the village regarding the landscape, some of it related to the hydrants, to the water main, to the like beautifying the property. And it was offered a few years ago, I believe 2 years ago, it was offered at the same 70% to the previous owner of the property.
Okay, well,
Mark Smith, it was on the agenda, I believe it was approved at the time. So basically, we asking just for the same, if you can grant us the same.
You're asking for 70% of a maximum, looks like,
of the demolition. Yeah.
Of the 100,000?
Because the overall cost of the project went up considerably, a lot. It didn't went up like 100 and 200,000. We wouldn't even bother to ask for the help. Right now, we got to the point where it's we can use all the help we can to get through with the project.
Okay. I guess you're asking for 70,000 or 70% of 100,000.
Yes.
You're telling us the costs increased $1 million. Are you going to come back at a later date and ask us for more TIF?
No. No, that's something that we discussed with John. We will not ask for, just whatever was offered before, we're not asking for anything more. Okay. Just assistance with the demolition. And I think it would benefit that property in the meantime, because the way it's going with the permits right now, it doesn't seem like the construction is going to start this year, because MWRD still didn't get back to us. Same with the IDOT. We don't want to drag into the winter with the construction. But if we get approval for the demo and approve, we can demo it as soon as possible. So it's going to look much better that side, like before the end of summer.
Trustee Vogel, if you could wait one moment. Mr. Spondilis, would you please?
Yeah, I just wanted to help answer that question.
Sure.
One of the ways that we can kind of put a bow on what the TIF request is, should you decide to move forward tonight, because this is just a discussion item. Right. So should the board decide to move forward, we'll put together a redevelopment agreement that outlines that. So there will be, that also helps guarantee that the project gets built. So we were anticipating the question, well, what happens if we give the money for demolition and the project never gets built? Well, this way, it's still a reimbursement, but it happens after the building is constructed. That's right. All right. So it would all be tied into a redevelopment agreement that we would bring you at a future meeting, hopefully very quickly, so that you could get moving with the project. But I think I just wanted to help answer that question.
All right, thank you.
Were you finished then, Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Thank you. Trustee Lang, then Trustee Papantos.
Thank you. Yeah, I certainly would like to see the property developed as well. What's the percentage that we've normally provided? Don Roth's was one that comes to mind of assistance.
70 has been common.
Okay. And that answers my question. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Papantos. Trustee Lang. Trustee Papantos?
You're welcome. Thank you.
I get you guys confused on either end, you know.
It's easy to do. I'm confused.
Yeah.
Your project cost has gone up roughly $1 million, and you stated much of that is due to requirements from the village. I don't buy that our landscaping requirements cost $1 million, nor do I buy placement of fire hydrants or anything else, which is part of a project. I mean, code is code all over. So what was the increase? Did you miss something?
We didn't miss anything, it just, the fire hydrant, the landscape, it's just the part that play into the overall increase of the project. It's not the whole $1 million, no, by all means. But the landscape alone, it's around $120,000, just the landscape bill. It's a bit excessive for the car wash. It's not a botanical garden.
But you are building right next to homeowners.
Yes.
So there's a reason.
That's why, trust me, we wouldn't ask for those money if we didn't need it. We're just trying to make that happen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Papantos. Any other questions or comments? This is more of a discussion. Maybe just poll the board, or
Please.
Trustee Rufato, how do you feel about this?
The demolition would benefit the property one way or another. Even if nothing ever builds there, it will still be much better than this thing right there. So, and even more beneficial if we build something there.
But you do understand that if you don't build, we don't pay.
I do understand.
You do? Okay.
And for the record, Mr. Rufato, what's your opinion of this?
I'm fine with this. Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Much
Trustee Kruger?
Well, we've certainly set the precedent already on this particular property, so yeah, I'm okay with it.
Trustee Lang?
Agreed.
Trustee Vito?
Yeah, I think it's textbook for TIF. It's a blighted, actual blighted. We've given TIF and some questionable blights. That one's blighted.
Thank you, Trustee Vito. Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
It's interesting that you changed your mind. I will grant, though. I would vote in favor, or concede. So then, outline?
So we will bring back to the board, Jim, how long do you think it'll take to bring back an RDA?
We can do it in the next meeting.
The next meeting?
Sure.
17th? So at the next meeting, we'll have an RDA for the board to consider, but it'll be outlined, it'll be exactly what we discussed tonight, 70% as presented of the, it's the middle, it's McDonough, correct? McDonough Demolition is who you'd like to...
One of the three, yes, McDonough Demolition, Crunch. I think McDonough is the one that we would go with.
Which one are we talking about using?
McDonough.
McDonough, okay, great. So it'll be at that amount. And that's it. We'll have it for you at the next meeting.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
And then we circle back to...
Old business. 12A, ordinance granting special use site plan approval for a tool equipment rental facility and outside display storage, 318 North Milwaukee Avenue, House of Rental, docket number 2018-30.
Yes, we do need a motion to remove this from the table. Thank you.
So moved.
Motion,
Second.
Trustee Papantos, second, Trustee Kruger. Roll call.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes?
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes. Now, Mr. Jennings.
Thank you, President Horker.
Excuse me, sir, that was just to remove this from the table. No, you're not done.
Stay.
Now we get to talk about a lot of pomp and ceremony.
We're almost there.
Relax.
The special use petition, which was just removed from the table, relates to the facade grant resolution that was just previously approved. In light of the discussion, I would recommend the second condition no longer is relevant. The first condition, in order to tie the discussion back to this item, the first condition could be amended to specify that it would be including the full perimeter and the gate. So the first condition, to relate it back to facade grant, could be reworded to read, the fencing materials shall be as described in the facade grant resolution for the subject property, including the full perimeter and gate. That way the two pieces of legislation would make sense together. Other than that, the petitioner is here to answer any questions that you may have.
Any other questions from the board? Right.
I do have a statement, actually, real quick. From the fencing contractor there's a 165-foot fence line on the west part of the property. That's where the homeowner is. There's a long line of trees there. So, you know, he said if he would do chain link there, it would be a cost savings. I just thought I'd bring it up. That's about all there is on my.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? If there are none, we need a motion.
So moved.
That would be as amended by Mr. Jennings?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Ferrolo.
Lang.
Mr. Raffato.
They both end in O, so.
Raffato.
Second.
Second.
Trustee Papantos. Roll call, please.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Krueger?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Raffato?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes. There you go.
Okay, very good.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Official communications. Clerk Simpson, you have something?
Yes. Wheeling is hosting an anniversary parade and concert in the park on Sunday, June 23rd, in honor of our 125th anniversary. The parade will begin at 4 p.m. and run eastbound on Dundee Road from Northgate Parkway to Wolf Road. Parking will be available at Village Hall, the Wheeling Police Station, St. Joseph the Worker Church, and Social Hall in the Wheeling Park District. At 5:30 p.m., immediately following the parade, enjoy the music of tribute band Egomania at the Wheeling Park District's Outdoor Performance Pavilion in Heritage Park. The parade and concert in the park are free events.
Thank you, Clerk Simpson.
Wait, I'm not done.
Okay.
Rock and Run the Runway held at Chicago Executive Airport, returning for its 5th year on Saturday, June 29th. The day will begin with a 5K run on an airport runway at 8 a.m. and pick back up in the evening with food trucks, face painters, balloon artists, a kiddie train, and live music by Gone Country and Haley Reinhardt featuring the Midnight Band. Evening festivities begin at 5 p.m. Fireworks will take place at dusk, approximately 9:15 p.m.
That's it?
Now I'm done.
Okay. You have before you the bills for May 6th. Oh, I'm sorry.
One comment,
Apology.
if I may.
Please.
I'd like to see us get together with our neighbors, Buffalo Grove, Arlington Heights, and Palatine, and complain about the awful job that the contractor is doing on Dundee Road to repair Dundee Road. I know I had asked Mr. Janik about funding for repaving that road, and he said we were going to get patching, and the patching is really, they're missing huge spots in there unless they're going over and going to go through it again, but it's really in bad shape. And I happened to be at an Arlington Heights event with some of their trustees last week and their mayor, and they agreed, and they would be they would welcome a consortium of the 4 cities getting together and complaining to IDOT about the job that's done out there. So if we could, with the board's agreement, if we can step forward on that, I think it would be appreciated by all.
Can't imagine anyone disagrees.
Yes.
No, I think 2 lanes and, fine. We could get electric cars in the outside lanes. Anyone else? Trustee Papantos.
Too soon?
Got that?
Thank you.
That was too long.
I believe May was the 2nd highest rain total that we've had.
Yes.
And to my knowledge, we have not had standing water, we have not had flooding, we have not been pulling out the kayaks, which was on the news for people to get around on their streets. And I know it's a lot of people working together, a lot of past boards, this current board, Public Works, but you guys are doing a great job. Whatever you're doing, thank you. And I think the town and everybody who has to drive through here can't hear it often enough. So thanks for the good work.
Thank you. All right. We have before you the bills for May 16th through the 29th of 2019. I need a motion for their approval.
So moved.
Second?
Motion trustee Papantos, second trustee Kruger. Roll call, please.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Ruffado?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes. That concludes our regular business for the evening. We do have an executive session this evening, so I need a motion to recess into executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Motion trustee Kruger, second trustee Ruffado. Roll call,
Can you
please.
state the basis, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. For pending probable or imminent litigation, review of minutes lawfully closed under the Open Meetings Act. And the motion still stand, guys? Good. All right. Roll call, please.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Ruffado?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes. Recess, 7:31. Thank you guys for coming.